Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome back to another video. Today for you, I have a new RGG Studio Yokoyama interview. They're asking him, I think, about Stranger in Heaven. They're asking him about the new Kiwami 3. They're asking about a bunch of Western related stuff, Western audience related stuff. It's kind of interesting. I want to cover it. So yeah, let's get into it. The Like a Dragon series still can't be called mainstream in the West, developers say. There's an audience, but we still have a long way to go. Interview with Like a Dragon series executive producer Yokoyama Masayoshi, chief producer Hiroyuki Sakamoto, and game director Ryosuke Hori. In February 2026, Sega and RGG Studio will release Yakuza Kiwami 3 and Dark Ties, a bundle title containing a full remake of Yakuza 3 and an original spin-off game featuring Yoshitaka Mine as a playable character. The game was showcased at Tokyo Game Show 2025, where Automaton Japan interviewed RGG Studio's three top figures: director and executive producer Masayoshi Yokoyama, series chief producer Hiroyuki Sakamoto, and director of Yakuza Kiwami 3 and Dark Ties Ryosuke Hori. We asked them about franchise current status in the West, as well as studio's views on incorporating feedback from players and marketing teams into their games. Note that this interview was conducted in September 2025. Okay, when was Kiwami 3 revealed? Don't remember. In a past interview, you mentioned that the Steam version of Yakuza 0 was doing very well globally. At the time, you said people overseas were buying it partly because it felt exotic. It's been 2 years since then, but how do you feel the series is positioned now in the Western market? I still think it's mainly people who already like or understand Japanese games who are picking it up. That said, Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii actually sold very well in Europe, which is completely different from past trends. Not the US, but Europe. So before I get into the rest of it, I at least commend Yokoyama for not saying that this series is still not mainstream. It's still not mainstream, at all. Play Zero, and the people that play Zero barely make the transition to go into the other games. So I feel like if it was mainstream, they would be going into the other games. But because the other games are old, I feel like people don't want to play them. It's fine, I guess. I guess that's why they're making the Kiwami remasters, because they want the people to experience the older games in a way. That's right. I got the sense that pirate culture is deeply rooted in Europe. Of course, we have a larger player base in the US to begin with, but seeing sales unexpectedly grow in Europe was interesting. In this sense, I think people are discovering the series through various entry points, but I don't think it's at a stage where it can be called mainstream yet. Again, I agree with him. There isn't anything much else interesting here. I've noticed people, a lot of people, jumping on Yakuza from Gaiden. There's 7. There's even 8, which I think they get into later in this article. That sold really well, and I think Yakuza 8 was an entry point game, believe it or not. Everything, it's almost brand new. You didn't even have to play the previous game. So yeah, let's move on. So you don't feel you fully reach a market yet. You're still in the process of expanding. I had the impression that it was a series all readers of our English language edition were familiar with. I think that's probably because that's the kind of readership your publication has. There's definitely an audience familiar with it, but we still have a long way to go. Wait, what does he say here? Hold on. I don't understand this. So you don't feel you fully reach a market. I had the impression it was a series all readers of our English language, but that doesn't mean the series is mainstream. There are core Like a Dragon fans out there forming community, so we do have a fan base, but it's still actually quite small. Yeah, like me. Like me, bro. Guys, you guys need to come on here, and the developers need to come on this channel. Then we gotta talk about Kagawa. And we gotta talk about what to do next. But yeah, I for the most part, I agree with him. There's definitely smaller. I've seen them, yeah, for sure. There's small Yakuza communities out there. I'm not sure how many of them actually play the games, or most of them just play Like a Dragon, and that's where the communities are formed. And I think that's a good thing. My only wish is I wish I wish they went. I wish like the people they went into the other games too, because the other games are good. But I know they're long. They're like really super lengthy, and like not everybody has time for that. So yeah, moving on. So in terms of your stance going forward, you're still figuring out how to break new ground? Yes, even our merchandise strategy is very different between Japan and the West. In Japan, we design products under the assumption that people already know the source material since the series has gone through many phases here, but if you did that overseas, it wouldn't make sense. Right now, our priority is simply to firmly establish the Like a Dragon name and the RGG Studio logo. Yeah, I think so too. That's what they've been trying so hard to, like, you guys can see it, you know, like in the past, even their names, like even the franchise names, like they changed it to Like a Dragon. So they're trying to get the studio's names known and trying to get the names out there. And like, that's why I think this Kagawa business is like no good. Bro, like you're still trying to get your name out here. You're still trying that. And like, you're hiring problematic people and we're catching on to it. And like, that's not, like, you need, if you want to establish your name in the West, then you need to address the concerns of the Western audience, in my opinion. But he's right, you know, I do think it makes, like, it aligns with like what they've been doing in the past years. Even if Like a Dragon's global popularity rises, our philosophy won't change. You've always talked about making what feels true to RGG Studio. If the series becomes even bigger globally, will that mindset change? Yokoyama says, no, it won't. If we really want to make a game for overseas audiences, it would obviously be better to make a foreign protagonist and set the story overseas. Yeah, I mean, that is pretty obvious, yeah. Like, if they wanted to pander for that. But like, yeah, okay, I guess. I mean, they took Ichiban to like Hawaii, but I guess Ichiban's a Japanese protagonist. Hawaii was like, I'm gonna say like Hawaii, Infinite Wealth, like that sort of stuff. That was pretty Western, in my opinion. Instead, we have to preserve what makes us us and communicate that to the world. If we're not doing that, we might as well dissolve the team right now and make a totally different game. It ties into the question of what you want to do for a living. If our job as creators is to make games, then RGG Studio's job is to make Like a Dragon and spread it globally. I think people start making strange things when they misunderstand what their business is supposed to be. Like, I agree, but I mean, Yokoyama seems to be focused more on like the development end of the games, and I think that's a good thing. But like, if you're talking in the context of the West, I don't know, man. Like, there's stuff that are like outside of your game development, like Yongya as the voice actor for Kiryu, for example. Like that, to the Western audience, that is much more of a concern than like making the game. I think this is a good thing. Like, yeah, you should do what makes true to yourself, and that's why we play the games. But like, that was never the problem to begin with. The problem was they don't address the concerns of the Western audience. They don't address that's like outside of game development. That's outside of making the games. And that is important. That can play a role in like whether the game makes or breaks. It's marketing, it's PR, and like if you have bad, like if it's bad, then like people are not going to want to buy your games, especially in the West. Does that mean the market is secondary for you? It's not secondary, it's always part of the package. But if it means changing what we create, then that's not the right approach. As the series' popularity rises, you'll probably receive more feedback and requests. Do you not take those into account? We learn about game design ourselves. On the other hand, when it comes to operational things like waiting lines at events being too long or tickets being hard to buy, we listen to user feedback. In other words, only when it applies to services and administrative aspects. It's because we don't change the games that fans keep having high expectations of us. What? What the fuck is he saying? So we learn about game design ourselves. So they don't care about fan input when it comes to game design. Yeah, I don't think he's lying, guys. I do think he's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious that like they really don't take fan feedback into account when they make the games. But they do listen to like services, administrative aspects, I mean, I guess that's good. But like, it's such a... I hate that answer though. It's such a like a like we learn ourselves. We don't. You know, I don't like that answer. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. All we can do is believe that a good game will be appreciated. If the belief that fun games sell is invalidated, then what's the point? Of course, in reality, there are games that don't sell despite being entertaining. That's why we hold events like this to properly convey the fun. For TGS 2025, we set up many demo stations so people can really experience it. That's marketing and promotion. We think of them as a set. But if your actual product is boring, all you're doing is embarrassing yourself. So in the end, it still comes down to making a good game. What a take, Yokoyama. Good job. Yep. Good games are good. Boring games are boring. Woo! Yeah! Right, if the game is lackluster, promotion won't be much. Exactly, it's like advertising a dish you already know tastes bad. Okay, that's a better way of putting it. I think I reacted too soon to that. Is this good work sells mindset something ingrained in Sega's culture? Me? Yes. Compromise is something the whole team feels strongly about. I'm involved in development as a game director, but it's not like we know what will make a game entertaining. All we can do is make something we believe is fun. I feel like the whole team is sincere in that they want to make something they find genuinely interesting and good. Okay, I like this guy a little bit better. I think either like he speaks a little bit better, or I think like the translation is a little bit better. Either way, this is it. I think like this is the crux of it. RGG Studios is just doing like whatever they believe is fun, and if people rock with it and if people buy it, it's good. The big elephant in the room is that like they're not asking him about Kagawa, and they're not asking him about all of this other stuff, and like it's like a thorn next to me, you know? It's just like, come on, man, like no pushback, no nothing. Okay, moving on. We spare no effort in that regard. We do everything in our power to create something good, right up until the very last moment. The mindset, let's do this because we were told to, or let's do that because marketing says to, doesn't exist for us. Or rather, it doesn't need to exist because they don't tell us what to do in the first place. I think that's because we're already very conscious of marketing ourselves. Yes, since we develop games with a stance that respects marketing too, we don't really get told much anymore. That explains a lot. That explains the Kagawa situation, dude. That explains everything. Like, they're not telling them. They're not getting told what to do with the marketing. Yeah. We're not some stubborn team that refuses to listen. Okay, sure. We make good products and we work hard to communicate that ourselves, so there's no need for others to tell us what to do. For example, we made all the assets for our TGS stage event ourselves. You make all of that yourselves? Yes, while working on the game, during spare time, our designers will ask the marketing team things about the stage and displays that'll be used at the event, and then they'll pitch ideas to me on how to place the characters and the like. Ugh, good for you. Normally, marketing drafts a plan, presents it to development. They discuss feasibility, and if development can't do it, it goes to outsourcing, but we don't work like that. We don't leave it to agencies, we provide everything ourselves during development. I don't understand this, like, this split. Like, it says marketing, but like marketing, PR, like social media, like, they definitely know. They must have seen it. Moving on, even booth decoration. Yeah, okay, all right, good job. Yeah, you see, this is beautiful. Yay, perfect. Can I get like a... Good job, guys. Woohoo! I mean, it is, you know, it's a lot of work. I don't want to make fun of them for that. RGG Studio's new challenges may influence the future of Like a Dragon. It's been some time since RGG Studio took its current structure. What phase are you in now? I think we'll step into the next stage in the next 2 or 3 years. With titles like Stranger Than Heaven and the new Virtua Fighter project, we're working in genres and settings we've never tried before. The results of that will surface a few years from now, and I think those outcomes may influence the direction of the mainline Like a Dragon series. So are we getting a mainline after those two? I don't like that. But I think it's a good thing that like those two projects are going to like Influence Like a Dragon. I don't like the fact that like we have to wait for those 2 games. I mean, I'm going to play both of them. I'm excited for those 2 games, but like I don't want to wait for them to play Mainline. At the same time, I guess they can only work on so many more projects at once. So it looks like Kiwami 3 and Dark Ties are like the last of like Yakuza that we're getting. If this interview is like any indication, Kiwami 3 might be the last Yakuza that we might get for a while. So I don't know about that. So your other projects could actually affect Like a Dragon's future direction. I think so. What we'll learn from them will influence us. For example, with Infinite Wealth, the setting changed to Hawaii, and that proved we can create non-Japanese characters in overseas environments. It was a major success for you too. That kind of experience shows us the boundaries of what we can accomplish. The less unknown territory there is for us, the more our repertoire grows and our options expand. As you gain experience, new paths will open up. That's right, we don't yet know exactly how we'll evolve, but our options will definitely increase. I don't know what we'll be making a few years from now, but we're definitely in the midst of change. Looks like they're not going to make a new Yakuza game for a while. That's what it looks like to me. Yeah. So I'm not very happy to hear that, like especially like this part. It seems like they want like the other hold on. It seems like they want the other games to influence Like a Dragon, and obviously we can't get Influence Like a Dragon without the other 2 games. So that's pretty much telling us like, hey, you gotta wait for those 2 games and then we're gonna do Dragon. I'm not sure if fans are gonna be really happy with that. If I'm honest, I do think they should give us at least something. Like I don't know what, but I think the Kiwami 3 / Dark Ties is gonna be the like one of the that's gonna be the only Yakuza game that we're gonna see for a while. So I know some people want to boycott, some people want to buy it. That's the information that I'm giving you. I think if you want to buy the game, I think that's perfectly understandable. Because it is the last Yakuza game that you're going to get for a while, and like after that, I don't see people purchasing Virtua Fighter. But I think they will get Stranger Than Heaven. I think Yakuza fans will get Stranger Than Heaven.